You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast.
It's the KKP on your mother flipping airways. Hear the name ringing through the halls and the stairways. You were listening to a pod that can segue. All the latest topics guaranteed to fill your headspace. It's a safe place to voice your opinion. Say what you feel just like you're a kid again. Kid the pro and friends, black as obsidian. Chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pop with chaos rules and black culture reigns supreme. The Chaotic Culture Podcast is, of course, brought to you by patreon.com/Chaotic Culture Pod. Please be sure that you join the Patreon for bonus episodes and, of course, to help keep the lights on. Once again, we appreciate your support. This pod will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials and Gen Z can navigate the crazy parts from finances, black business highlights, black professionals, community content creators, home ownership, HBCU sports, black nerdom, anime, wrestling, and especially black music. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 410, I am the host and the creator of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. the Calculated Millennial, a.k.a. the Encore Presentation.
Can I get an encore? Do you want more?
A.k.a. your favorite toxic adjacent king, Ked the Poet, Ked the Closer, all that good shit. A43 is me. Baltimore is the place to be. Always chaotic, never toxic most days. And back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. Happy Black History Month once again. You already know what time it is. But on today's episode, we are going to be discussing a prominent figure in hip-hop and his most recent EP and leading up to his most recent album. But before we get into that, of course, we have to go ahead and introduce the usual suspects, starting with one of my co-hosts here, Mr. Scuba Steve. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what's up? It is just I, Scuba Steve, aka Scholar's Dad or whatever, aka don't call me Gambit. I can never be your X-Man, aka the Instant Negator. How y'all doing, man? It's Friday night.
Yeah, a Friday night. Had a little bit of a schedule change. If y'all pay attention to my last episode, of course, my schedule's about to change. So now, instead of recording on like Sunday and Monday nights, it's going to be like on the weekends and whatnot. And we'll still try to post the episode at the same time. But, you know, it is what it is. But at least I'll get my weekends back mostly. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yes, sir.
You know, shout out to having Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays to myself. But yeah, man, it's a Friday night and we're here to discuss an album. But before we do that, of course, we have once again joining us for the pod, and who normally pops up for these kinds of episodes, of course, is one of the members of Anime After Dark community Hangout, One Piece Leek. Sir, go ahead and please introduce yourself, sir, for those who may not know who you are.
Yo, it is One Piece Leek of Worst Jam Pod and Anime After Dark. It has been a while since I podded with y'all. I feel like the last time was a J. Cole discography discussion, probably. But man, it's good to be. I haven't podded in a long time, so I'm glad to be podding. Unfortunately, under not great circumstances because of who we talking about, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh no, that don't sound good.
This nigga just hates that nigga. That's all it is. That's all.
I don't hate J. Cole. I love J. Cole. He just disappoint me like Nas all the time.
Ah, shit. This is oh man. Well, before we get into the hate club antics, we definitely gotta, check on our mental health, see how everybody's doing. I'm actually going to start. My mental health is fine, but once again, physical health, that building always gets me sick. I'm not as sick as I have been. Like I don't have COVID, flu, or strep or anything like that because I have gotten that in that building. But I had a little bit of a sinus infection, so it's not a serious one because I caught it early, but still it sucks. I just don't like it, and I hadn't had a sinus infection in years. But it is what it is. I'm just trying to get all of that stuff cleaned out and whatnot, so I'm on meds and whatnot. But still, other than that, I'm doing okay. Just trying to get used to this new schedule that I'm about to be on, and hopefully will get a chance to enjoy my weekends. I'm going to, unfortunately, because of my work schedule, I'm going to miss the Super Bowl. Well, at least at a bar or anything. I may still try to sneak and watch it, but it is what it is. At the time of this episode, of course, it'll be long after that, but it is, that's how life be. What's up, Scoop?
Who you got?
Oh, I'm always picking the Seahawks, bro. I'm never picking the Patriots. Never. Even on their best day, bro. I will never pick the New England Patriots. Like,
as a Colts fan, I can't pick the Patriots either. I just can't.
I cannot, bro. The Steelers fan in me will not do it. Like, out of all of our rivals in the AFC North, whether it be I don't like the Browns, don't like the Bengals. I have a grudging respect for the Ravens, but if there's a team that I really can't stand outside of the Cowboys, it's the New England Patriots. Like, that team will have my disdain for as long as I live.
That's fair. I'm 100% in agreement.
Yep. Speaking of which, Steve, how's your mental health, bro?
Mental health, I'm good. Work. Kids are getting old. Skylar got a driver's license. Life is, yeah.
Oh God,
it's been that long. Yeah, so that's a big part of my mental health because her on the road, I'm like, I give her my old car, but I'm afraid that's gonna break down. But then I want to give her my new car because if you wreck that shit, it's you see what I'm saying? It's like I don't want you to be on the side of the road.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I don't want you to be on the side of the road waiting for me. And you know what I'm saying? Then she be driving her siblings to school and shit, and I'm just like,
and I live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta give her the new car. But then it's one lanes and you're a new driver.
Yeah, that's tough.
And yeah, other than that, I need to get back in the gym. I was working out consistently, and then the last month I just decided I didn't want to work out no more, and my belly has came back with a vengeance, so I need to get rid of that. But other than that, I'm good, bro.
That's good. Speaking of, I need to get back in the gym because all those pounds that I lost came roaring back. I'm like, bro, I was down to 185 and now I'm back up to 190. I'm like, oh, let me get back to doing what I was doing.
Bro, I bulked up again. I got like the 225 bulking, and then I stopped working out, and then it turned into fat. And I'm like, I would rather just get skinny.
Yeah,
I don't like that it turned into fat. So now it's really hard to lose again. So
for sure. Leek, how's your mental health been, bro?
I cannot complain. I feel like it's warming up, kind of, even though it's winter. We just had that ice storm down here where everything was shut down, so everybody was like getting cabin fever. So that sucked. But I've been outside the past 2 days walking. That has been warmer, and I'm gonna stick to that. Try to be consistent with that. Be more intentional with exercising, and I've been doing a lot more monitoring what I eat and how much I eat and stuff like that. So I've really been trying to keep that at the forefront and change like bad habits that I feel like I've used to having. I feel like a lot of us, we weren't necessarily like without when we was younger, but I come from a household where you don't waste food, and when you get older and you have more than you were used to having when you're younger, I feel like you eat more just because it's there.
Yeah.
And you also be like, nah, I'm not wasting no food. Nothing is going to waste. And it's like, you just can put it in the refrigerator and eat it another time. You don't have to eat it now. Yeah. So it's kind of really trying to break bad habits. But other than that, I've been good. I can't complain.
Good, man. That's good to hear. How the kids holding up?
They're good. Everything is fun and games. They was inside playing the whole time when it was icy and stuff like that. They in there playing now on the Switch. So, when you that little, you that young, everything is everything. You don't think about nothing. So
for sure. Speaking of the ice storm, the ice up here has finally started to melt. Not that's it's really no consequence because right now it's snowing again, but it's not gonna stick. But still, it's just the fact that I have not seen grass in like 2 weeks. So it's just been all pure white and then nothing but snow and ice. As far as the eye can see, like the roads are mostly clear now, but while everybody had cabin fever, I still kind of, I got 1 day free off of work, but then I had to go in and it was just like, okay, I decided to live up north. That was my decision. So I got to deal with that. But it is what it is. Thankfully, The things are starting to clear up, but we'll see what happens because tomorrow it's gonna be cold again, and then it'll finally start to actually get warm for real. So with that in mind, we came, of course, to talk about J. Cole, and not just one project. We do want to get a little bit into the Birthday Blizzard EP that he dropped in partnership with DJ Clue. And I just wanted to say real quick that it's refreshing to hear DJ Clue's his what do you call those things?
Laugh.
Yeah, the that laugh and all of the tags, like yeah, DJ Clue. I was like, oh man, it's been such a long time since I heard that. So big shout out to DJ Clue for hosting that. We got 4 freestyles from J. Cole off of this EP. The first one being Bronx Zoo freestyle, which was based off of the song Victory by someone currently in jail, and featuring, of course, being Busta Rhymes. You got the Golden Goose freestyle, which was based off the song Can I Live by Black Rob and the Lox. Winter Storm freestyle, which was based off of Who Shot Ya, and 99 Bill freestyle, which was based off of the beat Money, Power, Respect by the Lokes and DMX and Lil Kim. So let's get into some first thoughts about that Birthday Blizzard EP.
Track 1 and track 4. Track 1 and track 4. The middle felt like fluff or whatever. It was still good. You know what I'm saying? He's still rapping. And since they're freestyles, or they're supposed to be freestyles, it's whatever. Victory, that beat is like one of them things where everybody has rapped phenomenally on it. So
legendary beat.
Yeah, even if he go hard on it, it's like Lloyd Banks really, really put you in a tough ass spot. The way that Lloyd Banks went on that. But I think he still performed exceptionally well. And then on Money, Power, Respect, there's a lot of like, that's the one thing that I will say about Cole. If you are talking to somebody, put a name on it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. Put a name on it. Like, I'm the biggest Cole fan probably out of this group, but for sure, like, I'm always gonna keep it a buck and keep it real. Like, put a name on it. What they gonna do? If your rappability is what it is and what you believe that it is, what are they going to do? Put a name on it.
They're gonna rap, and apparently he don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, other than that, I think that it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was quick. It was in and out. It wasn't long overdue. It was just enough to give you a little taste. And I think the fact that you get that DJ Clue hosting it kind of gives you the vibe that what you're going to get on the album is that it was going to give you an old kind of 2000s feel. The way that he was rapping and stuff like that didn't feel like he was in 2026. The way he was rapping on this album kind of felt like he was a 2010 rapper, old mixtape type shit. That's what I felt.
Okay, cool. Leek.
So when it dropped, I mean, I think there was rumors already that he was going to drop something. I think it was like Jadakiss or somebody said he was going to drop.
Jadakiss.
Yeah. So I kind of had an inkling he might put something out. I was surprised it was so close to the album drop. But the first song, Bronx Zoo, obviously Victory, it's an iconic beat.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything crazy on it, but he rapped on it. So my thoughts as I was listening to him, like, oh, he rapping. Okay, he had some bars for Simba. And I was like, and every now and then I would hear a line and I would like kind of jot down, like, what did he mean by that? So like, I was like, jumped off the top to a level I wasn't regarded as much. And I was like, so this was on purpose? Interesting. I was like, sound like some bullshit, but I feel it for the narrative. Apology dropped me out of the top 3. I'm best when they doubt me. Yeah. You don't get to bow out and act like the victim. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean,
it not
wrong. I don't feel like he was dissing Simba. You think he was dissing Simba?
That was for Simba.
Why?
That's why Simba responded.
Why do you feel that way?
I just feel like, obviously, it's one of them situations where I feel like Cole is throwing rocks and hiding his hand. He gets the benefit of saying, well, I've been young Simba. You know, that's me.
Yeah.
Simba said something about you, you said something back. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't think so. He been calling himself Young Simba on every mixtape. Every single mixtape.
When the last time he called himself Simba?
On the last mixtape.
When's the last mixtape?
The freaking I don't know.
Did that Might Delete Later, or did he?
No, he didn't do it on Might Delete Later. He did it on,
I didn't think so.
The Creed joint, the Creed 3 shit. He called himself Young Simba.
Sure, you can give him the plea if you want. I think he was shooting at Simba. If he
I
wasn't,
don't think on that one.
okay.
I don't think on that. I think Simba just
I think that was the best track out of all of them, personally. Golden Goose, I feel like he was shooting at Drake, possibly Kendrick. Soldier Soul, Lucian.
Name on it, please.
I definitely heard that.
It's like, okay, you putting these bars out here that could be interpreted as this person or this person. Soldier Shoulder, Lucifer. Stream say you winning while your tours is losing. Who was that for?
I think that's
boosting, cut the tough guy image.
That's Joey Badass.
Bots is boosting, cut the tough guy image. I thought that was a Drake bar. That's Drake.
That's Drake.
Your dog might get shot for losing. That's a Drake bar. So I'm like, it was a decent song though. Winter Storm Freestyle. I'm like, I think he admitted on that song he basically scrapped what he was doing and redid the album again or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I guess that's why he pushed it back.
Double disc, yeah.
He had a weird Lori Harvey bar in there that I don't know why that was in there. He's kind of shot at Lori Harvey for some reason. I'm like, okay, I guess. I did like the Zeno and Goku bar.
Yes.
Yeah, the DBZ reference, so points for that. Then 99 build. I think he started off with like an ice bar, and I'm like, not the time for that.
It's not.
But he was rapping. But then he said something interesting. He was like, warn me not to have a heart-to-heart with a monster. Kendrick? Is that what that
he's talking about? I think he's talking about Drake.
Really?
Because a lot of people feel like, I mean, Kendrick has said that you did cold foul while you still pretending. And I think Schoolboy Q has alluded to that too. I think that Drake had J. Cole was having a heart-to-heart to Drake, and the whole time Drake was putting him in the middle of some shit and he didn't know about it.
So you think Drake was behind the scenes telling him to respond to Kendrick?
No, I think First Person Shooter was a diss to Kendrick, and only Kendrick knew. Because they said a lot of times when Drake diss people, only the people that know who. Because it's an insider, only something you would know. Okay. And J. Cole thinking he getting on the song.
So you think that's why the response was how it was? Because even with Kendrick's response, I don't feel like he was super shooting at Cole. That's why it was kind of weird to me how Cole kind of put himself out there like that. I can see that. I guess we'll never know when somebody says something, but it is kind of weird how Cole really not rocking with Drake no more at all. I think that's interesting.
Drake been on his quote unquote fake Instagram, his Finsta. I don't know if y'all remember when he was like, y'all remember when Cole did something? He posted a picture and everything. Then he was like, remember when Jay-Z dissed Cole? And it was like, bro, like, why are you doing this?
When did this happen?
It was like right after the beef, like when it was like right after the beef and kind of during it, like before Kendrick actually responded, that little 2-week gap after he does that little Taylor Bay freestyle and shit. He was like taking little shots at Cole too.
Interesting. I know he did say I would have never did that shit Cole did or some shit like that. Yeah. I know I heard that in like a
Cole losing sleep.
He said that shit on what was that song?
Family Matters.
Yeah, Family Matters.
Interesting.
And then fucking DJ Academics, he was all like, "Don't back out of this like Cole did," and Drake was like, "Nigga, never." You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I don't give a fuck.
I mean, we'll get to that later. I'll touch on this.
I respect Drake for not backing out. I ain't gonna lie. Win, lose, or draw. Win, lose, or draw.
And then I think the last couple things in 99 build, it was like the beef ain't real, so ain't no reason to squash it.
Then why'd you squash it?
I was confused with that one.
Why did you squash it?
I was like, you talking about Kendrick, or is this a broad term about beef in general? You being too vague for me. I did like the line, if hip hop is back, Jid should chart platinum. I like that line.
I like that. I
love that line. I actually feel bad that Jid didn't come home with no Grammy. I didn't know what he was gonna win because who he was up against, but I'm kind of upset he didn't get a Grammy. But I like that song too. Like you said, the middle was kind of the two weaker songs, but overall it was a okay little.
Yeah, y'all pretty much compiled all of my thoughts together. Like when it comes to Bronx Zoo, as we said, that is legendary beat. The victory beat will forever be legendary. If I don't give P Diddy no credit on anything, it's there are a few songs where I'm just like, all right, yeah, but still, it's definitely a monster beat that he flowed over, and he held his own.
Biggie wrote it.
Yeah, we all know Biggie wrote it. That's supposed to be a Biggie song.
Yeah, it was Biggie's song.
And Diddy put it on his album after Biggie passed. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and listen to Victory, I'm like, nah, that's big. That's big all over it. Yeah. So apologies, of course. I gotta take sips of water here and there to stop myself from coughing. I do like the what line was that in Bronx Zoo? The Luka Doncic line. All man, your name's a big conversation. Max deals for Luka Doncic longer lobbing the Aiton. I did like that. I thought that was kind of clever. There was another one on that particular song. Boom walked out the tomb like Matthew said that Jesus did with a whole game on his shoulders, not even straining to hold it. I think that I'm like, okay, he trying to compare himself to like, Jesus. Oh, I'm coming back now after that whole, the whole backing out of the beef thing. It's just like, okay, well, yeah, I like how you put yourself up there, man. At least you still try to maintain confidence in yourself, even though it is what it is.
I honestly and truthfully, at first I was like, oh, I'm not fucking with this shit. If you're gonna keep saying you're the greatest, I'm not gonna fuck with it. And then when the mixtape came out, I was like, okay, if you're gonna stand on it, stand on it. And now at this point, though, like Leek said, I feel like you need to be more direct, though. If you're gonna stand on it, stand on it. Now be direct to all them niggas that was saying you ain't shit, because all of them all of a sudden got courage. Freddie Gibbs got courage. Simba got courage. Fucking Ye all of a sudden come out the woodworks. Game decide he said all these niggas getting courage. Squash them all. Fuck them all.
Yeah.
But we know that's not what he's gonna do.
Right.
And that's why we quote unquote love Cole. I love Cole, but at the same time, I'm on the darker spectrum of Cole. I want to see blood.
That's fair.
I got a take that's gonna come later in the album review, but it speaks to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like he's conflicted.
Okay.
He wants to so bad, but he just for some reason won't do it. And I don't know what's his problem. Just do it.
Speaking of, I just wanted to point out that I do think that Young Simba line was aimed at Simba, because when you look at the whole thing, he says it's hard to write as hard as the God does. Y'all toddlers to me, stop bothering me. Young Simba, some niggas threw some hate my way, but only thing they should say is, Cole, you like a father to me. Like,
how can you hear that and think that's not a shot at Simba?
Yeah, I do think that was.
I thought that was a play on his words. I don't even.
It was, but I'm like, nah, he taking a shot at Simba. Like, I kind of was like, let me look at the whole bar, and I'm like, yeah, he took a shot at him, and I mean, at least he said a name in that instance. Like, okay,
if it is, then credit to him for saying a name. Because for me, I feel like
it's easy to punch down.
You don't have to speculate. Yeah, I mean, shit. The only person that is punching down on everybody, if you ask me, except for Kendrick and Drake. Like, to me, it's been the big three forever. So anybody that you diss is a punch down, in my opinion.
I don't know about that one.
You can say what you want to say.
I think the only other person, I wouldn't say it's punching down. I feel like it's more so like kind of right there. I think he should go with Gibbs.
He don't have the star power. He'll out star power that nigga to death. I think that's.
But he gonna outbar him though.
Who?
Is Cole gonna outbar him?
We'll see. I mean, I think that's what happened with the Joey Badass shit. At the end of the day, he just star powered them niggas to death. Like he was winning as well, but he also it's just not fair. And I don't think that would be. I mean, if Gibbs dragged that nigga through the mud, it is what it is. But I think that eventually he would just star power that nigga to death.
Hey, I'm like, Gibbs ain't afraid to go low.
Yeah, that's the issue.
So you think he would do the Drake thing?
Who?
Because that's what Drake do.
Drake tried to star power Kendrick. He couldn't do that shit.
That's the only person he couldn't do it with. But typically, that's what Drake does.
I don't think he star power Pusha T because he got his ass whooped.
He tried to.
He tried to. The holla at me when you multi-million. That was definitely trying to star power.
He tries to star power you.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
Either he's gonna star power you or he's gonna talk about your girl.
The issue is though, J. Cole can rap, and I don't think Drake is on that level of rapping. Even though they the big three, and that's kind of what I wanted with the Kendrick and Drake thing. I mean Kendrick and Cole thing. I felt like they were just gonna rap. It wasn't gonna be no smut.
I think everybody thought that.
Yeah, and that's why it pissed me off. Because I was just like, y'all not gonna throw smut at each other. Y'all not gonna talk about.
That's why that poor Antonio shit pissed me off. Oh, they wanted blood. I don't think it was gonna be blood if y'all was rapping at each other.
Yeah. Well,
him over there.
Yeah,
blood. No.
Yeah,
I think that was a metaphoric blood. I don't think he meant blood, but all in all, I think that should have been a friendly fade, and it would have been great for hip hop. And if you lose, who gives a fuck? Jay-Z lost to Nas, and that nigga kept excelling. Who cares if you lose?
Stevie and Jay-Z.
I'm like, hey, look, they I mean, they did end up squashing the beef. I don't know if Kendrick will ever squash with Drake.
Kendrick said it's up forever.
It's up forever, right?
And it should be.
Yeah, you brought his family to it after he warned you. He was like, all right, keep playing with my name.
Before I take a truce, I'll take him to hell with me.
And with me, yep.
I mean, I agree. I mean, like he said, you went to the hood looking to get dirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, if you
put him or his family in danger, he was like, nah, I'm not with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I'm not mad at that at all.
For sure. Getting back to my review, Golden Goose freestyle. I actually, even though it was weaker in terms of, I guess, how I felt, and of course with the beat selection, I do like some of the bars that he had on there. Again, Leek had already mentioned the Lucian bar, the For Crumbs, dumb nigga, so this soda Lucian, universal distribution, but I own the music. I think that was pretty clever.
That's a Drake bar. That's a Drake bar.
I'm trying to find that.
Even though everybody is quote unquote signed to Lucian, that's a Drake bar.
That's a Drake bar.
Yeah, they were trying to talk about that on Joe Budden podcast. They was like, everybody signed to Lucian. I'm like, come on, dog.
Yeah,
you just sued their label.
I'm like, come on,
being a slave.
You either signed to Lucian or you signed to Sony or you signed to Warner Brothers.
Something like that.
So it is what it is. There was another one. Oh, I just found it because I had to pull it up. And the culprit's 2-6, where the closest you get to Hope is Hope Mills Road. Cole has seen more beef than the folks at Ruth Chris. Teach a man how to fish, and the lesson is this: without a pole, you're useless. I did like that part. I was like, okay,
very clever.
Yeah.
And then what we was talking about all offline. We felt like, oh, you trying to get ahead, dissing. And then when your album dropped, people forgot about you. A lot of people were speculating that was Joey Badass.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that was quote unquote at Joey Badass. I think that was a Ye diss. I think that was Ye decided to make his remix to like that, all that other stuff. Then Bully came out and nobody gave a fuck about it. I think that was more at Ye.
Why would you shoot at Ye? He got issues with Ye?
Yes, bro. He False Prophets.
Hey.
False Prophets and Middle Child disses at Ye. And then Ye decided on to like that remix, play J. Cole, get the pussy dry, all this other shit. And then in that whole interview, he was just dissing J. Cole just because Kendrick.
I don't listen to nothing from Kanye, so I'm unaware.
Yeah, that whole interview, all he does is talk about J. Cole, and it was because J. Cole brought out that apology. That's why I said, if I'm Cole, like if you feel like, okay, Kendrick is too big of a battle, that's my boy. Okay, beat up everybody else. Beat up Ye, beat up Game, all these niggas that can rap and you can get some notoriety for, beat them niggas the fuck up. Let me show that I'm not really scared of this nigga.
Pick your battles.
Like I'm not really scared of this nigga. He my homeboy, and I saw that was going a different way. But you other niggas, let me just show y'all not my friends. I'd have beat everybody ass. Like that just would have been.
I think he's sweet now.
That's the issue. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to punch somebody in the face to show.
You got to make an example out of somebody.
That's what I would do.
I don't know if Cole is that bold, but
it sucks, bro. Like,
yeah, man. For me, I also want to just mention Winter Storm Freestyle real quick. Leek had already mentioned the Zeno and Goku bar. Zeno with Goku's agility, I did like that. And then the 99 build freestyle. definitely loved the him choosing Money, Power, and Respect. It felt like it was not the original Money, Power, Respect beat. I don't know if it was like a slight remix. But when I listened, I was like, okay, this felt like this got maybe edited for the tape and whatnot. But either way, I still liked it. The bar, y'all taught me not to have a heart to heart with a monster. They all too heartless. You like, maybe it's a Kendrick bar, but maybe it's more of a Drake bar. So and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's probably a Drake bar, because we kind of know how much of a terrible person that Drake turned out to be. So and honestly, that's really all the notes that I had regarding this mixtape, for real, this EP. I think that it was decent. I would say that I out of the 4 songs, 3 I enjoyed, between Bronx Zoo and Golden Goose and 99 Bill. Winter Storm was kind of on the lesser end, but I did like at least 3 of those tracks. So I'm like, okay, well, for an 11.5-minute EP, I think, this was cool for what it was. And, it got me prepared for what we are about to talk about next, which is allegedly J. Cole's final album, The Fall of. And I say allegedly because who knows what could happen in between now and later.
I feel like it depends on how it's received.
Yeah.
It's not his last album.
Yeah.
At the end, that outro made it seem like it's his last album.
Yeah.
So was the Black Album. That song, that's the perfect song to end your career on. My last,
sure.
Like, no, he'll be back. He'll be back. Even if it's just as in the Andre 3000 role, where only thing he do is features, he'll be back.
Yeah, I was gonna say he may just do nothing but features, or he may drop one more. Who knows? As you said, it depends on how this one is received.
I mean, features the only time he really be wanting to rap.
I feel like he rap on these. He just needs production.
That's another thing I want to talk about.
Yeah. So,
contrary
to popular belief, I did think that this one was probably one of his more well-produced albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the production on this one was fairly surprising. Granted, he had a lot of help. It wasn't just Cole by himself. Obviously, he had Omen, he had T-, he had The Alchemist, he had Vent Finals on this one. He also had Boy Wonder help him out. I'm looking through all the producer credits and whatnot, but he had I already said Omen. Which I think Omen might be a better producer than he's a rapper. I'm just throwing that out there.
Really let T- do a lot of his stuff, honestly.
Yeah,
they work really well together. They do good. He should let T- do a lot more production.
He should, and I'm not trying to like shade Omen at all. I think he's dope, but I do think he might be a better producer than he is a rapper. But that's just me. He had Jake One, he had Beat Butcher, Tay Beast. He definitely had a lot of help as far as producing this album. So, I guess I'm gonna give my initial thoughts before I go song to song. I do think that giving the perspective of you being 29 and coming back to your hometown, and you're kind of at the top of your game and on top of the world right now, but then there are still some things that that you still question. You still question, the girl that you have been on again, off again for so long, but you still have feelings for. Is that still available for you? You're still wondering about the safety of your hometown, and then of course when you're at the club, you're always wondering, like, is violence going to follow us after this? You're wondering what's going on just within your city. People hitting you up and letting you know how they feel and say, hey, let us know when you're back in town, and all of that, and then of course on you have some things, of course, that you still have to clean up. But reflecting back on that and then going into this too, which was him being at 39 and realizing that in that 10-year span, how much you've matured. You have that long thing that you've been trying to get back with, that you've now decided to do life with, and you've have kids with now. So you're looking at life from a different perspective. You have decided that you have found peace, allegedly, within this I guess within your headspace, you still have love for the game of hip hop, but then you're wondering, okay, maybe this is the time for me to, to bow out. Because at some point or time, we're gonna have to reach our, our endpoint at some form or fashion. So I think that the overall concept of this album, I really do like. I don't want to, and this might be a controversial take. I don't want to say that this is a watered down version of Mr. Morale because I do not want to compare it to Kendrick. However, somebody made that comment on Twitter saying that this is Cole's way of saying I choose me, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, God damn it, why did y'all have to put that in my head? Now I'm gonna have to compare it. And I didn't want to.
I feel like that's insecure.
It's not there because this is Cole. It's like it's Cole choosing peace without having to deal with the trauma that Kendrick had to deal with. So I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, but I didn't really want to make that comparison. It sucks that somebody put that in my head, and now it's just like, damn, now I can't not see it out of my head.
I feel like that's insecure, and it's every time Cole do something, we gonna compare it to Kendrick. But then and then now it seems like the Drake fans are jumping in too now, since they don't like Cole no more either. But it's like every time they drop something, every time Kendrick drops something, they're gonna be, oh, Drake does this, and the only reason this song is successful is because of the battle with Drake. And then when Drake dropped, all it is, oh, well, Kendrick, blah 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 blah. And now we starting to get it. It's every.
You just gotta stay on Twitter, man.
The fan bases are so insecure right now.
That's why I just stay off Twitter.
I mean, we already know you're gonna be.
It's on Facebook too, though.
But still,
I don't be on Facebook neither.
Yeah, I need to get off of there.
Nah, don't go to Threads either.
I'd be normal, brother.
But nah, I try to curate my timeline to like not include those Twitter warriors or those, the Drake stands, the Cole stands, and the Kendrick stands, and how much they try to like they feed off each other. I'm just like, man, I'm not with that, man. I need for this project to stand on its own without me having to compare an artist's work to another artist's work. And ultimately, my overall opinion of the album, again, before going track to track, I think that this track was well done. Is it Cole's best? I still say Forest Hills Drive is still his best, but I will say that if I had to put this as far as like albums, this has probably cracked my top three between Forest Hills Drive, Born Center, and then maybe this. Especially
my
because
exact order.
Yeah, because for me, this was the album that Cole wanted to make. So of course, you're not going to hear a lot of hits. You're not going to hear a lot of stuff that's going to be played on the radio or anything like that. You're not going to hear a lot of stuff that's going, you're not going to hear shit that's going to be played in the club. And honestly, not every rapper has to do that. And Cole is at a point in his career where he does not have to do that. He does not have to make a hit for the radio anymore. He's been in the game long enough to where like that's not his. He doesn't have to focus on that. He's not under any contractual obligations to do that. So he made the album for himself, and I think that this is definitely entered into the top three conversations. So I have to let this album sit with me a little more to decide on whether I want to put this above Born Center or not. But overall, I felt like this was an album for Cole, and on top of him rapping, obviously, I think that this was a well done album.
I'm agreeing with you. It is at number 3 for me. Stephen McGee at 12 o'clock last night was not happy with this album. I woke up and I was damn near sleepy already. And then it's super melodic and all that shit. And I was like, damn, this is going to give all the niggas that hate Cole more ammo. This is a sleepy ass album. It was very mellow, laid back. And even the songs that were supposed to be more up tempo, you had so many slow songs. And then the up tempo songs are still kind of, mellow as well. It just felt like a long
singing and humming and melodies.
It felt like a long, mellow album. And I was like, the thing that separated Born Center and Forest Hills Drive, you got to get off my dick. The no role models, things like that. So then when you hear a song like Apparently, it's mellow, but you can actually listen to the bars because you haven't been damn near tuned out. That's what I felt like last night. Now, when I woke up this morning, I started this too. first. This 2 is a lot more up tempo. I had a clean palette. I enjoyed it, and then when I went back to listen to this 1, I was like, this feels a lot like he needed to switch those. This 2 should be this 1, and it flowed a lot better in my opinion. And then that's when I started to listen to it. Then I was like, we got a pod about this tonight. So I was like, I know these niggas gonna be writing down the bars and all this other shit. So I listened to the album all day today. So that could also be playing a factor into it too. But I started to really enjoy this 1. This 2 is head and shoulders above it, in my opinion. As far as like an entire piece of work, this 2 is way better. But this 1 has some songs on there that I didn't see last night, or I guess I didn't pay attention to last night, and I feel a lot better about them today now. But that's how I feel overall. Yeah, Born Center and Forest Hills Drive, definitely those more up-tempo songs. You don't have to do everything yourself, bro. Like, you want to Forest Hills Drive, I think, put this battery in his back that no features. I produced it, blah, blah, blah. And now he feels like he needs to do that all the time. And the artist that you are, everybody want to work with you right now. Right. It would have took nothing to have somebody do some of them hooks at that first CD. Because on that first disc, some of them hooks, I'm like, bro, let Miguel do this. Like, because he sounded like Miguel, or he was trying to sound like Miguel on one of them songs. And then, what's that shit? Run a Train. That song. Bro, but the lyrics are great. That hook is awful.
Awful.
You could have had anybody do a hook on that. Then on top of that, you get Pharrell, get Mustard, get all these people probably want to work with you, brother. And you've shown that when you featured on somebody else's shit, on those up-tempo style beats, that you got different styles, different things that you could bring to the table that you could put on your album. But instead, you want your production and stuff like that, which by all means, it's your album. Do your thing. And I'm a huge fan, but at the same time, like, bro, for this to be your last album, your big bang, your last hurrah, I was thinking, like, this nigga gonna have a whole bunch of secret features. This nigga gonna have Timbaland on one of the fucking, I thought it was gonna be some crazy shit. Manny Fresh on one of them. I don't know. I just thought we was finna get something wild like that. And it just felt like this was just a long think piece. Even though, like, I'm starting to enjoy, I'm finding the ones that I like and really care about. As a long, continuous 24 songs, it gets monotonous. And I very much love this. Listen, I challenge y'all to listen to this 2 first and then go back to listen to this 1. It might flow a little better for y'all, because that's how I started to listen to it, and I was like, it flows a lot better that way.
Leek.
So I listened to the first disc last night. So with albums, I tend to listen to them 2 ways. I'll listen to it the first time, I'll pull up the lyrics because I want to know what you're actually saying and take notes. So that's what I did last night with the first album. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I'm listening to it, I'm like, what the hell is this? But that just speaks to the bigger problem I've always had with Cole. And I don't understand why he does this. For some reason, J. Cole, when he has an album coming out, he decides, oh, let me put some stuff out before the album. Let me put some Lucy's out. Let me put a mixtape out. And I feel like he subverts expectations for what his content is going to be about on the album. So you hear this 4-pack that he puts out. I'm like, oh, the beats? Okay, oh, he rapping on this album. No, beats is totally different. It's way more melodic. It's way more slowed down. It's way more introspective. I'm fine with that. But my problem is, don't put out things before the album that would lead people to believe the album's going to be something different. And he does that a lot. And I hate that he does that, because if he would never put out that 4-pack, this album will be received better than it's probably going to be received, because it's completely different. But without getting to my track-to-track breakdown, this 2 is way better than this 1. Way better. The content of this one is still good, but the stuff he's rapping about on this 2, like, you can tell the difference in age. You can tell that it's 10 years of wisdom. So in that first album, I feel like he's almost a little scatterbrained. He's losing a lot of different flows, a lot of different harmonies. He's all over the place with what he's doing. It's not bad, but there's no direction to me. It's just kind of almost like a playlist of stuff that you had in the tuck that I've been wanting to say. These are the things I spend on my mind. This is and so I can show you the contrast and growth in this too. He was rapping. I didn't really care for some of the hooks. Like you said, you can get somebody else to do that.
Yep.
I will say this. He did a damn good job with some of these samples. As far as like the vocal samples, you got the Outkast, you got some of the Future doing what song was he doing? I forget which one. We'll get to it in a minute. But some of the Marvin Sapp, I'm like, okay, he spent some money to get some of these things cleared, and I like that. Spend the money, especially if this is supposed to be your potential last thing, go all out. I appreciate that. Really, really introspective, really content heavy. I like all the messages. Some of them kind of didn't land with me, but that's also because I've listened to other projects from other artists that kind of did similar things. So it sounds a lot like other things. Like I said, I wasn't on Twitter, but I can hear the comparisons. I can hear sometimes when he's trying to do his Eminem stand. I can hear when he's doing his Mr. Morale. I can hear some of those things. I'm like, I'm not mad at it. It's just, it almost seems like because he hasn't done it before, it's almost sounding experimental. So it might not land with everybody. I feel like if he's gonna do something like that, I feel like he need to practice a little bit more or figure out his way of doing it. Like you don't have to try to do the melodic Drake kind of chorus or bridge. Like you can leave that to somebody else. Right. Like you said, bring in Miguel. Miguel can do that. Bring in Leon Thomas.
I can't remember what song it is, but it's a song on here. It's Miguel. Like it's like, bro, why didn't you just get Miguel for this song? Like,
overall, it's a solid project. And I feel like the perspective when you listen to this needs to be: this is not an album for me. This is an album for J. Cole. Temper your expectations. Don't go into this thinking this is supposed to be this because you're going to be disappointed. This is not an album for us. This is an album for him. So when you look at it from that context, I feel like I'm going to feel a lot better with it. Not sure how often I would replay it, but it's a solid album. It's in that 3-ish, 4 range for me, with Forest Hills being the clear number 1, with Born Sinners being high up there with number 2, and it being kind of like a little gap in between everything else for me. But this is probably firmly in that 3rd spot.
Yeah. Even to y'all thing, one thing that I immediately, when I heard it, I was like, I guess because I had been on Twitter and Facebook already, and I already saw the Kendrick comparisons on the Let Out, which I really fucking love the Let Out.
I like the Let Out. Yes.
When that guitar come, I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, that's a Mexican guitar, GNX. I can already hear the niggas. I can already hear them right now. I can hear them niggas saying it right now. But the Let Out was definitely, that's one of my favorite tracks on there. That's Spody Lopidopalicious Outkast. That's literally what that is. That's a modern day what that is.
Going into the album itself, that I also have my criticisms as well, because as Leek has stated, you really have to temper your expectations, because when I first listened to this at 12 o'clock, right when it dropped, I felt myself like, okay, this is more melodic than I was expecting it to be.
And I'm going
it's nothing like the tape.
Yeah, I'm like, this is definitely nothing like the tape. This is more, as you said, more introspective. Okay, and then I felt myself nodding off at a certain point. I'm like, all right, now I need to start over. So when I woke up, I didn't go all the way to the top of disc 1 or disc 29. I started like right around the Who the F Is You and worked my way back down. Like, all right, let me start here, and then I'll go down and figure out, which ones that really hit and whatnot. And then I started at the top and went back down again. So I was like, all right, cool. So with that in mind, There's really something about Cole that I guess that really irks me. And it's just like, as not the whole temporary expectations, there's something else. And I think as I'm listening to it, it just feels like Cole is not trying to be experimental. He doesn't want to experiment with his sound. Like, I think he just, he found that pocket and he just wants to stay there, which is fine. Not every artist can be as like super creative as a Prince or as a Stevie Wonder, or if I have to do it in hip hop terms, even as a Kendrick. Like, you can't always like be experimental with your sounds. And then sometimes that if you do decide to go that experimental route, if you don't like hit it, people are gonna be like, oh, that was not the kind of experiment we were hoping for. I.e., Drake with Honestly Nevermind. That was an experiment he should have never tried. And I will stand on that. Yeah. I do not, for forever, he should have never done the house music. But I don't think that was Drake trying to be experimental. It was just him trying to hop on a wave. But that's another conversation and another topic for another time. For this, it just felt like, okay, Cole, you at the top of your game at this point. You can experiment. You can try different sounds. You can try different beats. You can try different things that can make the album sound more experimental and take more risk. And this definitely avoided a lot of risk. There were some tracks on there that I was like, okay, he might have taken a little bit of a risk on that, but not far enough to where we're like, oh, he went out of his way to try and do something that was completely different. And it just, he never got outside of his box and not outside of that pocket. Again, not every artist has that range to do that, but at this stage of the game, you would think, well, maybe Cole can try to do that, but he doesn't. And I think that's the other thing that has bothered me about Cole for the longest time. And I love J. Cole, but again, it's just like, I want him to try something different. I want all artists to eventually like get out of that monotony, because as you see with certain trap artists, they keep going back to the well over and over and over and over and over and over again. Eventually, it's like, yo, you did the same song 5 different times with a different title. Like, are you going to, get out of your comfort zone or not? But that being said, that's not to take away from what Cole has done with this project. It's just something that has definitely irked me. And I've noticed that while I was listening to this project, it's like you didn't try any new sounds. The flows are there, the raps are there. They're always going to be there because it's Cole, but the sounds weren't experimental, or they weren't challenging, or they weren't risky.
Use another producer, because that might bring that out of you.
Well,
if you instead of producing your own thing, 24 tracks. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
let somebody else. And every time, even when he produced stuff for other people, when he produced songs for JID, when he produced stuff on Dreamville and High Power from Kendrick, like, they're all melodic beats. He never makes. So if you're gonna produce your whole album, it's no experimental, because I guess if you don't play around with it, you don't know how to make up-tempo beats. I don't know. Or that's just not your wave. But that's why you need to let other people in there. Like, that's just my opinion. I love the lyrics, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like the song, putting together the song, it seems like it's a letdown for me personally, as far as like, I have this thing of like this realization, like, oh, when I was younger, Tracy McGrady better than Kobe. Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady. J. Cole is better than Kendrick. And then every time I'm like, why I kind of always end up on this side of history? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this has been me the entire time, bro.
Damn.
And it's getting frustrating. But and the thing is, like, lyric wise, I feel like bar for bar they can go. But like you said, Kendrick is trying different things. And then on the let out, if he had more songs like that on this album where he's experimenting with different shit, been a whole different album. And like we said, this too is better. I love the joint where Biggie and Pac kind of like having that conversation, that back and forth. And then that meme was funny as shit. They was like, of course this nigga made Biggie and Pac apologize. I was like, I was like, come on, bro. I was like, this nigga can't win. But like, I like that song just because of like, if you listen to it, he really is rapping like Biggie, and then he is rapping like Pac.
Like
I
Pac,
like
yeah.
I like that. That was very creative. I wonder if that was something that he had on the Fall Off originally, or is that something that he added after the beef or whatever? Like some of these songs, you can tell that they originally was on it. I think it was a story kind of like For Your Eyes Only, where it was just going to be a 29 to 39. And then I think he split those tracks up into two different things. And then the extra songs he just sprinkled in there. That's what I think. I don't think a certain disc is a completely new thing. I think he sprinkled 4 or 5 songs on each side. And then that's how it worked.
For sure. So before I get into I guess the track by track breakdown as far as like what I liked and what we didn't like, Leek, did you have any more comments?
Nah, most of my stuff is like track by track stuff, and then like overall like summary, like to bring it all like my overall thoughts.
Cool. So let's get into let's talk about the first disc. Let's talk about disc 29 and what we liked and what we didn't like. Now for me, I mean the intro is the intro. It's really I really can't comment on that because it's 57 seconds. It's just an intro to the album. But starting with 2-6, and one thing that I noticed and I immediately thought of was with the chorus, it sounded so much, or it reminded me so much of Take That Shit to Trial by Mr. Biggs. I was just like, oh, 2-6 niggas, wow, take that shit to trial. I was like, oh shit. But then he went a different direction. I'm like, okay. But I still, at first, it took me a minute to warm up to it, but I still actually ended up liking the song. I will probably say that outside of the Let Out is my favorite on this one. Safety is up there with me. I was like, oh yes, okay, this is one that I truly enjoy. I have to go to my notes as well and talk about some of the lyrics, but I think that it was great storytelling within Safety itself. I love like Cole's perspective of talking to his childhood friends and whatnot, and just remembering to stay when you're in the Ville, when you're in Fayetteville, you gotta watch your back at all times and stay safe. I think that overall the story within Safety was great. That's one chorus that I thought, I'm like, okay, you know what, Cole, you did okay with that chorus. That's fine. They didn't. I think the overall flow with that was cool. I will say again, Run a Train. Yeah, the lyrics are great, but y'all have already said that the chorus was just like, why, bro? You could have got someone to do that. That was terrible. Poor Thing. I just want to know who he talking to.
Please put a name on it.
Put a name on it, because the amount of times that he kept saying punk bitch, I'm just saying like, well, damn, who is you? Is it Drake? Is it Kendrick? Is it?
It sounded like some Drake diss in there because he.
I'm like, or is it somebody that you knew a long time ago in your hometown that pissed you off royally that you just decided, nah, you got to get this work, and next time I see you, you gotta have to see me. Like that's what it sounded like to me. Is wow. And shout out to for those who didn't catch it, shout out to the ad libs from One Fly God. He was on there. Yeah, like if you look at the very beginning, you'll hear West Side Gun's little ad libs that he always does.
Oh, okay.
I caught that the second time around. I was like, wait, that's West Side Gun.
Yeah, I thought that's the Boosie track too, right? The Boosie sample.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because that's the bridge with Woozy on there. So I definitely want to know who he talking to, because again, Cole, just put a name on it. With that, I will say that Legacy is also was also a really good one.
Legacy is good.
Yeah, that was my third favorite. Because I know that like the themes of regret in that song were heavy, because that's one of those things of like, okay, um you're feeling different kinds of emotions between like loneliness and uh you traded your legacy for something temporary. You're wondering like, okay, what am I really doing right now? It's I think that's what comes to mind when we think of legacy, and trying to, find that feeling of, do I still really want this person, or do I not? Like, is she still gonna be there when I come back? And just having those feelings of regret and having those feelings of loneliness. And I can relate to that. That's why I really appreciate that track so much. Bunch Road Blues. Tongue twister. Bunch Road Blues. Shout out to Future for the little callback to Nice and Slow with Usher. And then Tim's, yes, that's kind of what we were referring to, that Cole needs to just let people sing on certain tracks, because again, you don't have to always be on the chorus. You don't have to kind of do things on your own. You have people in the industry that can help lift up the track better than what you portray it to be. So but this is one of those where I'm like, okay, yes, he grabbed Future and he grabbed Tim's, and they actually helped lift the song. Who the fuck is you? I think it kind of speaks it to itself as far as what the song is. Drum and bass, but then we get to the Let Out, and bro, oh my god, I was like, yeah, okay,
That's the one.
That's the one on this disc. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah. I definitely got this one on repeat. I was listening to it a few times in the car. Like, oh, will we survive the Let Out? When we survive the Let Out, again, I don't. Comparison is the thief of joy. But when I say that hook just reminded me of it reminded me of Kendrick's Chapter 6 from Section 80. Pray that we make it to 21. I was like, okay, that's kind of what it reminded me of. So, but as you said, like, yeah, it's that song was really the one. Of course, then Bombs in the Ville hit the gas. I have my issues with not that song. I have the issues with the next one, the Lonely at the Top kind of thing. Because it's just like, okay, we talked about you being at the top, and we see how you acted when the crown was challenged and how you backed off. So that's why I'm kind of like, but it's not a bad song. It's not a bad song. But if I really had to pick 3 out of disc 29, it's the Let Out, Safety, and Legacy. And then I think Bunch Road Blues, and then 2-6. And then everything else kind of falls off after that.
For me, it was the Let Out, Poor Thing, Safety.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is you? For me, was great in the beginning. He put this little random ass snare in there, kind of that was offbeat to me. It felt like the RZA. Like it just something was off about that random snare that he started to add in there, like halfway through the first verse. It was weird. And then the beat switch or whatever, a lot of people love it. This is my issue with it. I didn't love it either, but my issue is both of the times that he had up-tempo songs, he combined them into one track.
Yeah.
If you put them on separate tracks, it gives the album more balance. Because you're getting a break from the melodic. If you just put it at the end of a song, like I can't never find it unless I skip through the track, and I don't want to skip through your track. Put it as a different track and give it some balance. Everybody is trying to do this beat switch shit ever since Drake and Travis Scott did it on that fucking one song, and now everybody wants to do a beat switch in the middle of a song. You don't have to do that shit. And it became a trend, and everybody is doing the shit. And it's kind of annoying. It don't work for everybody.
I mean, beat switches have been a thing long before.
I can't remember
before Sicko Mode.
Yeah,
like
it's been a thing, but I don't know why. But once that happened, everybody feels the need to do it. Them niggas,
I get you.
And Joey Badass doing it on a diss track. I'm like, bro, what? Come on, bro. I was like, Euphoria did it cool. It worked. But it don't work for every. You don't got to do it on every song. And now it's like every song is getting a beat switch.
That is a fair assumption, because I was like, when people try to say that Drake and Travis Scott made the beat switch, I'm like, oh no. Beat switches have been happening long before they did.
That's been a while, but it's like I think that shit. Once that happened, everybody wanted to do it.
Now that makes sense. Yeah. Everybody wanted to hop on that wave because they, had a song on the radio that had a beat switch. So I had 2 beat switches, to be honest, but
and it worked. It was cool. But I'm like, bro, everybody don't got to do that. You're not them.
You right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, be your own person. It's like when fucking Golden State shooting threes. Now everybody feel like they got to shoot threes. You're not them, and that's okay. Be yourself. like it's just annoying. But for me, yeah, Poor Thing, Safety, Who the Fuck Is You, The Let Out, is the number 1 for me. And then I kind of was cool with Bombs in the Ville.
Mm-hmm.
But Hit the Gas, once again, it was the upbeat song, and it's like, just put it on a different track, brother.
Yeah.
Put it on a different track. But yeah, for me, that's it. Run a Train had, like I said, I like the lyrics, but that hook is out ass.
Awful.
I don't understand. 2-6, I didn't really love the hook on 2-6 either. I like the lyrics on 2-6. I don't like the hook on 2-6. That's just me. And then now he dropped the video for it, so I'm like, okay, so that's the single. That's the one you chose.
Yeah, I watched the video right before we got on here.
I know that.
Yeah. I'm like, that's what you chose as the single. That's kind of crazy. But hey, it's his album. Like,
yeah,
like Leek said. It's his album.
All right, Leek.
Okay, so I took notes on every track. Do you want me to go through all my comments for every track, or just summarize them?
As best as you can. Like, we got time, but just do.
I didn't write a whole lot, but I did want to make some type of note for every track.
Mm-hmm.
The intro is the intro. I mean, not much to think about that. Yep. 2-6. I was like, it's an okay starting track. I think I thought the first verse was okay, and he popped his shit in the second verse. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it kind of reminded me of Drake with his flow in the second verse, I think. And then the first verse kind of reminded me of Jid a little bit. It was okay, like a 3 out of 5. Safety was a really good song. So it was solid. It reminded me of a song. It reminded me a little bit of Sing About Me Down the Thirst combined with like Stan. And I said, I love the perspective coming from the other side. That's someone that came up with you, but still treats you the same. It doesn't feel like some type of ways about not connecting. Because I feel like a lot of times when people make those type of songs, it's about you falling out with somebody because you're not really there no more. And I feel like that was a really nice perspective. Run a Train. Future. Absolutely not. And I said the irony is this is starting to feel like an introspective album like To Pimp a Butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that's the worst chorus ever. Very nice flow pattern in this verse, but I can't get past that horrible chorus. It was like the worst. To me, that was the worst song on the first album. Poor Thing. Said it was okay rapping, but it got kind of forgettable. And I say, okay, let's rhyme punk bitch for 10 lines. What are we doing? I get what he's going for, but I don't care for that execution. Yeah. And it kind of took away from the song for me. I thought Legacy was solid. It was very melodic and it was pretty decent. Bunts Road Blues, I thought was a really good song. I said the first verse was really solid. I liked the topics he was touching on. A solid Future chorus, thank God, because that last one was horrible.
Terrible.
At the time, I didn't know who was singing, but I thought the vocals was good. So he said that was Tim. So shout out to Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck was you? The first line, unicorn, Unabomber or some shit. I was like, Unibrow, Unabomber. I was like, oh God. Flow is crazy. Thug Bones who refused to move in harmony. A bar. I would say he was spitting all over this track. There was bars everywhere. Then he had one little cringe bar, kids in their mouth like a daycare. I was like, okay, guys, like.
So I think that's overused too. Somebody's used that before. I'm pretty sure.
Bro, it's the most basic of lines. And then I said the beat switch is good, but it felt like it changed to a pop song, and that took away from the bars. Drum and bass. I said the flow is flowing, solid raps, okay beat, very melodic and tranquil piano. The Let Out. probably the best song I think for me on the first album. I said the beat is crazy. I love it. A very rare melodic rap that I like. I said the song is a vibe. It gave me late night drive type of vibes. It almost sounds like a country song a little bit, but it reminds me a lot of Section 80, like you said. Bombs in the Ville / Hit the Gas. Said it's a reflection song, somewhat of a vibe in the car. That, to me, that's the biggest takeaway from this first album. Is like a lot of this is late night drive in the car.
Late night driving.
I feel like it kind of was a mix of this. It made me start feeling like For Your Eyes Only with a little bit of To Pimp a Butterfly in it. So just compare. And I said, I feel like Cole struggles to find a way to be introspective sometimes. And a lot of times it ends up coming off scatterbrained most of the song until the end. So it's very decent harmonizing and singing on his part. And then Lonely at the top. I said, I love the song. The raps are very solid. It just doesn't make sense to me sometimes. Because I think some of the stuff he said, he's like, I'm looking up the idols that don't rap anymore and not getting to their level until I retire. So I'm like, are you talking about like Andre 3000? You talking about like a Jay-Z? Like, I'm like, Nas is still rapping. So that's the first two people that came to mind. Because everybody wants Andre 3000 to rap. People keep speculating on when Jay-Z is gonna rap, if he's gonna rap. And then he said he felt like he got to the top and he was alone. That took me out. I was like, ain't no way you said that.
That's what I was saying.
When you the one that brought up Big Three.
Ain't no way you just said
when you're the one that brought up, you the one that said we the Big Three.
Now, I was like, look to the side if you at the top. You are not alone. That's literally what I wrote. You're not alone at the top.
Nope.
For some reason, Cole gets this, and I'm not mad at it, but he gotta start living in reality.
The thing is, because he brought up the Big Three, like you said, but at the same time, what is he supposed to say? He's supposed to say he's the best. Whatever. But also, like you said, and I feel like now he gonna really he done with that Big Three thing. Now he finna really say he's the best every time, because he feels like when he tried to bring niggas together, it turned into that what it did. But to everybody's point, the Let Out, we all agree it's the best song on there, especially because I feel like we've, as niggas, we've all been in that situation where you can see the beef. You looking around and you like, we gotta get out of here. we gotta
I can't tell you how many times in Charleston I go to a club, I'm looking around and I see tension over there in the corner. I'm like, I'm a dip, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. And then like not even the very next day, I wake up to the news like, hey yo, there was a shooting in the parking lot. I'm just like, and I caught it.
Bro, the thing is with me, in high school, I was always in that mix, but I was with the niggas that was doing dumb shit. Once I got to college, I was peeping the shit, and I was like, oh, I can tell it's gonna go down. Especially at PV, I was like, nah, I'm not sticking around for this shit. But in high school, I wasn't necessarily starting shit, but I was always with the niggas that started shit. It used to piss me off because I'm like, bro, I have a good night. Like, I'm finna go with a girl, and y'all niggas is being ignorant and shit like that. And then once I got to college, I was like, no, I'm not in that mix this time. But yeah, like just the lights come on or the DJ just decides he want to play Lil Jon for whatever reason. It's like, come on, bro, we was vibing. Like why are you playing Lil Jon or Tussle? Like why right now? Like, and that song resonated with me a lot, like just because of those vibes and shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so that brings us to disc 39, or the second disc. Okay, so this intro, unlike the first one, has a part 1 and a part 2. Part 2, part 1 more melodic, and then going into part 2, so we got another beat switch. One thing that I liked about this intro was, I think, the end, and I had to pull it up again as far as like because he starts like really like rapping at the end, and I'm trying to figure out where exactly it started, where I was like, oh, this nigga cooking. But I want to say is oh, here we go. It was the cold to gold, fresh like a juice that's cold pressed. No rest of those who oppose. I don't stress. Rap niggas gotta be in the vogue to pose threats. They don't compare. They're more like cold text. I'm dropping niggas off at the door like coke checks. Hold check. I told you they ain't ready to hoop. Them niggas regular. I'm 93 unleaded. The truth. Hold out the booth. Now I'm looking for my little Betty Boop. Cute part of me, shawty. I've been out of the loop. too many lies to refute, but I got to rebuke. They try to put my neck in the noose. It's not happening. Like, I do like the way that he ended off that track. I was like, okay, now that I definitely respect that whole flow. More braggadocious bars at the end. Trying to say, I'm the best and these other niggas is regular. I'm 93 unleaded. They don't compare. It's a lot of things going on, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I do like that track. And then of course the fall off is inevitable, which he had premiered as track 2 from Disc 2, where he's rapping in reverse of his life from death to birth, or in this case from death to being conceived. I do like, I've always liked that track when it dropped. I was like, okay, you know what, I fuck with that. And I fuck with the way that he told that story. I will say the Villist had what was it about the Villist that had me that caught my attention? Oh, the Outcast thing. And that's what I really liked. I'm like, okay, so we went back to Elevators, me and you. Okay. I fuck with that chorus. I fuck with the way that he that he rapped in the song. I really did like the very, very subtle background vocals from Erykah Badu, which kind of makes sense if you know how Erica's relation to Andre 3000. So I'm like, okay, then you use a part of an Outkast chorus. Okay, I get the connection there. So I did fuck with that as far as the production. But I do like how he kind of has an introspective about his younger self and his current thoughts on like what truly is what's going to make him happy as far as money, peace, and happiness. I do like what he did with this track. So the Villus was definitely up there for me. Old Dog had 24. It had Petey Pablo on that one, and honestly, I might have a little bit of bias to Old Dog because at the very end he gives a shout out to my hometown. He gives a shout out to all the towns in South Carolina. I was like this nigga said Charleston, this nigga said Columbia and Florence. I'm like, oh goddamn, okay, let's go. So I had to, I did want to throw that out there. Like I really did like the fact that this was a track for Carolina. I'm like, all right, cool. So if there was a high energy song that I wanted to play to feel a little bit of state pride, I'm playing this joint. So I do like Old Dog. Life Sentence is very, very, very beautiful. And I think that for those who are lucky enough to be able to what we call have a life sentence with the person or your partner, wife, husband, whatever that person may be, that you're lucky to build a family with that person, that is very it's very beautiful thing. And one day I hope to have a family of my own, and I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. I ain't gonna lie. So it's just like, damn, that is really a nice track to hear, and I'm glad that he was able to have a track where he dedicated it to his family, to his wife, and eventually it was like he was having these thoughts in the previous part of the disc where he's just like, about my legacy. Do I send that text? Do I not? Do I call this person? Is she still gonna be there for me? And she had been down for him since the very beginning. He was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just lock this down. And I think that overall shows his wisdom and after years, of being in the industry and whatnot and having these temptations, that he was finally able to like, you know what? I'm gonna close this chapter because she is truly, truly, truly important to me. Only You had Burna Boy on there. This one was probably one of the ones that I didn't I'm not gonna say I didn't like, because I did like it, but it didn't stick with me as much as it could have. So I'm not gonna talk about it as much. But and then Man Up Above, I really like the song, and I like the Marvin Sapp sample that he used. Especially for those who are a man of who is a man of faith. I think that is a very important track. What really, really blew me away before we got to the whole what if is I Love Her Again, because that was the track that just hit me like, whoa, okay, now we getting back to talking about ode to hip hop. Like we had of course, Common, which was I used to love her or HER. It reminded, going back to Love of My Life with Erykah Badu, and now we get to see Cole's perspective of this song, and it's just like, damn, yo, like he, the fight over the love of hip hop is crazy because you see where it started and where he was trying to go, but then he sees where the girl or where hip hop is going to as far as Atlanta, and then having this issue because now he feels like hip hop kind of played him, but she is literally more open than just what he believes hip hop is, and then having to struggle between seeing people beef and then wondering, okay, well, what the fuck? It is. I Love Her Again is probably, outside of What If and Quick Stop, it's probably my favorite track. Like
I wrote it down as the best song on both albums.
You said what?
I got that is the best song on both albums.
Yeah, I Love Her Again is like, for me, that is the track. I sat there like, well, damn, okay, thank you, Cole. Like that is what I really loved. What If? Obviously, we saw the perspective of if Pac and Big actually got to sit down and maybe have that talk through this their issues. And as you pointed out, Steve, you wonder, well, did he throw that in there beforehand, or did he throw it after the whole squabble between Drake and Kendrick? We don't know, but still, I like the perspective. And then I do like Quick Stop because it just showed that you can be inspired by anything. And he tells the story of this person who was like just really trying to hustle, and then they recognize Cole's face, and then they just dive deep into how Cole has inspired them and how he's continued to motivate him and whatnot. Sometimes that's really all that you need. And I think that's a really, really great motivator of a song. Like, hey, look, sometimes you just got to get out of old habits and change your ways. And I really fucked with the way that he was able to bring that perspective of a young person who, yeah, they're trying to get out, and they use his music as motivation to get out. And really, I could go into like Ocean Way and the Whole World Is Real. I didn't have too many notes on it other than the fact that the Whole World Is Real sampled the Ozzy Brothers. I did catch that sample, and I think he tries to, I guess, likens the entire world to his hometown and whatnot. And I think that this does seem like if he was going to, quit rapping, that this would be a good song to, leave your legacy behind on. Like, okay, this is the this is it. I will admit that I didn't get a chance to like really listen to Ocean Way as much as I wanted to, because I only got a chance to like maybe listen to it once because I was so busy going back and forth on the other ones. I think Ocean Way was one of those melodic ones that I kind of missed. And I'm like, okay, I got to go back and listen to that. But those are my overall thoughts on this too.
For me, I love this two way more than the first one.
Yep.
Like it's more balanced. It's a little more upbeat sometimes. It gives you a little more balance. You get more substance, more like hip hop. As far as like, what I'm saying? This is what I think. I think Cole is really one of those people that was like supposed to be a Most Def or something like that in those times, but he just somehow popped and got hot and got a real big fan base. But I think he's more of a conscious rapper that could have, like, if he was in the early 2000s, he would have just been Most Def, Common, Black Thought, something like that, where they were still great lyricists, but they never actually got to get the success that someone of Cole got. I think that's more of who he truly is, honestly and truthfully. And that's what I felt like I got those vibes on these songs. I really like What If. A lot of people making their jokes about, of course he made them niggas apologize, stuff like that. But in reality, if them niggas do apologize, they might still be alive. You know what I'm saying? You never know. So we make jokes about it because it's funny, but if that shit was real and we could still get some Pac and Biggie songs for the next 10 or 12 years after that, that would have been a nice situation. I love her again. Like you
Yeah.
said, that was a great song. I think that is my favorite track on this one. I like Old Dog as well. I love. I mean, I've been wondering why he hadn't worked with Petey Pablo. You know what I'm saying, for a while.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's a lot of Carolina artists that he takes his time working with, because it took him a while to work with the Baby. It took him a while to work with Maz. Yeah, so I'm just wondering what takes so long for that, but I guess in time it happens. But I really like that, and then I like the 24 sample on that joint. The fall off is inevitable. We've heard that for a couple of weeks now. Rapping in reverse, I thought that was really clever. It's more homage to his love for Nas with Rewind. And yeah, man, I think that's really it for me on this joint.
Side note, the joke, the what if jokes. I guess, did you see the one about the Jordan Lucas joke where he said that he made the song and Jordan Lucas is like, damn, why didn't I think of that?
Hey, Jordan do be having songs like that. Jordan Lucas
that is a Jordan Lucas song for sure.
I had to throw that out there, man. I was just like, yo, that reminded me of that Jordan Lucas joke when they talked about this song. So
do y'all think he made this song, that song before the beef, or you think it? I think he made it after.
I feel like he made it after.
Probably after. Definitely seems like it. All right, Leek, bring us home.
All right, so 39 intro. I love the instrumentals. I love the hunger in his verses. Solid rapping, elite level rapping. I feel like he was popping his shit and he was barring up. That was one of the better songs, I feel like, on the album. I mean, but to me, like I said, this album was far and away better than the first one. There's a lot more really good songs on this one for me. The fall off was inevitable. Elite level storytelling, wordplay, good beat, very impressive. This is the level of rapping and songwriting that I expect from Cole. 5 out of 5. The Villas, I love the Outcast sample. It was smooth and chill, and there's a lot of storytelling on this album, but it felt more of a vibey song to me. Old Dog, cool beat, kind of simplistic. The flow was nice. He's talking. No record deal, fresh out of slavery. Is that a whole shot? That's the first thing that came to mind. Then I said, is this a Petey Pablo feature or is it a sample? Either way, I love it. 4 out of 5. Life Sentence. At this point, I made a note. I said, this album is kind of all over the place. And as far as like the way it's structured, I'm like, it's not really anything being told. It's just kind of just you giving me different emotions and perspectives. But I said, it's a love song. I said, he reminded me of DMX with his flow on the chorus.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And I said,
how's it going down?
Yeah.
How's it going down?
And I said, it's a cool song, but I like it, and it's a vibe. Only You. I said, he's singing again. It's another love song. I said, I'm starting to think that the Cole I like hearing is the Cole that's on singles or Lucy's and not on his albums. I said, this is not really the Cole I want to hear, but I respect what he's doing here, talking about his wife and showing his maturity. And at 39, this is his life. Said, and at the time, I didn't know who was on the chorus, but I said, whoever this is on the chorus is adding something really nice to it. So I guess you think he said it was Burna Boy.
That was Burna Boy.
Okay. So I like that song. Man Up Above. And I said, never would have made it sample, question mark, question mark.
Yep.
I said, I love this sample, but I don't think he's using it properly. I get what he's going for, but it's not really landing for me. I said, it's an artistic gamble for me that maybe because I'm not used to it from him that it doesn't really hit. I said, I don't have him in the box as far as his rapping, but his melody raps on bridges and hooks don't always land for me. I said, his content is still elite though, and the subject matter is good as well as the bars. So it's like a 4 out of 5. I Love Her Again. I said, common sample, okay. And at first I was like, is this a sequel to Dream? And I said, is he stalking somebody again? And I was like, oh no, he's talking about hip hop. I'm like, okay, now he's going crazy. And then I said, by far, the best song on both albums. Personification of hip hop is incredible, and it reminds me of Lupe Fiasco, The Coolest. When Lupe was rapping from the basically rapping to the streets and personifying the streets and how the streets don't love nobody and how it was doing him. And I said, that's a 5 out of 5 song. What If? I said, this sounds like him speaking for Kendrick and Drake. This is Cole, what Cole would do if he was big, and I'm not mad at it at all. I'm just not it's not I said it's not just I said it's just big, and everybody back then wasn't on that type of time, but I get what he's doing here and I appreciate it. I love this song. It's definitely a vibe. I said it's an alternate reality that I appreciate, but also, of course, this nigga made a damn apology song. But I still get it like a 4.5 out of 5. I said quick stop. He's going crazy, and this is one of the realest songs of his career because he's speaking life. To me, that was one of the other songs to me that was 10 out of 10. I have no issues with it. I love what he was doing. And I saw this quick stop, like quick trip. You at the gas station and you running into somebody, and I'm like, I love how, he has some apprehension at first, and then when he gets recognized, instead of it being like some, oh, dude, it's like y'all having a good conversation. Like nobody's talking to anybody crazy. You're not dismissing him. You're speaking life into him. He's telling you how much you've done for him, how much you like, because music really do be saving people. Like music does a lot for people. So I really appreciated him doing that. And the whole world is the Ville. So it's Isley Brothers sample. It's a homage to his city and his journey. It's a solid song, a lot of keys, solid rapping, nothing too crazy. And then Ocean Way. So it's a very melodic outro, and it's more like a poem to me. But it was very solid. So the best tracks to me is obviously I Love Her Again. I think that was a perfect song. I think Quick Stop was a perfect song. It's a lot of like 4.5/5s out of, The Fallout's Inevitable. This is a very good second album. To me, it's hands down better than the first one. So it's really hard to me to try to put them together because they're so different. Like he uses a lot of the subject matter, but just his approach feels like vastly different. And I think that's what he was going for. Him being like a 10-year difference. This is the 29-year-old me, this is the 30-year-old me. And it's like, okay, if that's what you're going for, cool. It just still makes me feel like it's nothing like the tape you put out before the album. And it's just so like off-putting. It's like, if you would have never put out that tape, people would probably really rock with this album, at least the second part for sure. But it's just like, I feel like a lot of people are going to go into it expecting to hear a lot of things about everything that took place together the last year and a half because you pushed the album back. And it's like, when you listen to this album, you don't really get a lot of answers. You just get more songs. So just taking it for what it is, it's solid. It's nothing crazy. It's a cool album.
To Leek's point, when he was saying it's all over the place, I really think that that's because he made all these songs in the last year and he sprinkled them in there, because a lot of the songs are consistent, or it seems like it's a story, and then it's just random ass drop that he put in there. I think he should have made the fall off, how he had a story, and then all those songs that you decided to make a year in the past year, you should have made that the second disc. You know what I'm saying? Like however you want to do it. But to Leek's point, I really feel like the reason why it sounds all over the place is because that nigga is dropping random songs that he, quote unquote, if you've been working on a fall off for 10 years, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? To your own project.
I think to that point is like, because he's been working on this thing for 10 years, at times, like he may have wanted a song there and then he had to take it out. There was a song there. It's just like, nah, that don't fit no more. When you've been working on something for as long as 10 years, you're going to change your mind about certain things, and you're going to want to try and switch it up to, I guess, fit or try to fit that perfect mold that you put for yourself. And that's the downside of working on a long-term project, because at some point you're going to be like, I was going to rap about this, but now that I'm here, this doesn't fit anymore. So now I got to, take it out and maybe sprinkle something else in there as well in order to fit where the narrative is going. So he kind of pigeonholed himself doing that, but at the same time, I still think that it still came out a pretty solid album. But yeah, that's something that you risk yourself, or that you risk doing when you've worked on something for as long as 10 years. You again, the songs that you were going to, potentially use, you don't use anymore, or you might have put them on a little bit like a clip or an EP, and it's like, dang, you can't use that anymore. You can't use Middle Child anymore. You don't use any of the other songs that you had. Obviously, you're not going to use the one that you had at the end of KOD anymore, because it's just been 7, 8 years. So
Part of
it's
10 years.
yeah. It's just like, there are certain things that when you work on something for so long, your mind is going to change, your vision is going to change, and you still have the overall goal, but it's like, okay, this song ain't gonna fit anymore, so I'm gonna plug that here. This song don't work anymore, so I'm gonna plug that here. And I think that's what ended up happening with this project. So granted, as you said, it could have been a lot smoother had he not put this all on one album and just made one album, another album, and then maybe just make disc 2 the actual fall off. But you could have called disc 1 or disc 29 the prelude to the fall off and just kept it like that, and then make the disc 39 the actual fall off. But that in mind, I still liked what he did. I still think that it's a very cohesive project. Outside of the fact that with age 29 being a little more scatterbrained. If I had to give an overall grade for this album, I think right now I got to listen to it a few more times to be sure, because my mind could change. But I'm comfortable giving this an 8 out of 10, and like just being comfortable with that is a really good album.
Yeah, I got it at an 8. I feel like there's songs that he left off. There's going to be a deluxe or something like that. Watch. If not a deluxe, there'll be another mixtape. Something's going to come out within the next 6 months. I'm pretty certain of it. So I'm giving it an 8 as well. And yeah, I'm wondering if he's gonna stay outside, because people gonna let this go and they're gonna let the shit get its, let it blow over. And then all these rappers are gonna come out the woodwork and they're finna start dissing Cole because you didn't put a name on nothing. So anybody that feels some type of way the shoot might have fit, they all finna start dissing. And I'm wondering if he's gonna stay outside this time. I would love for him to stay outside. I would love for him to slap everybody that say something and then be like, now I'm leaving for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love that. We know it's not going to happen, but I would love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a wishful thinking. So my summary was the first album is not really for me. It's more slower, chill beats, but still a good flow. But to me, it has the same problem that most Cole albums have for me, that it's kind of forgettable. My biggest problem with Cole is that he puts a lot of his hardest shit out before the album, but doesn't put it on the album. It constantly leaves you believe that he's on that type of time where he's about to come kill shit just to subvert some expectations. But let me be clear. It's still quality music. It's still quality, but it's not the vibe or energy that he gives, leading us into thinking he's going to come with. It's almost like being pump faked. The second album is my favorite of the two. Lots more rapping, but keeps the same storytelling and introspection throughout without sounding corny, which is really hard to do. Lots of good vocal samples throughout both albums. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of this I would play in regular rotation if it's not something that I'm like riding in the car at night. I think this sounds like almost like a retirement album at the end. A going away party that pays homage to his city and his wife and kids while still trying to get his shit off. It's a reflection from a 40-year-old who has transitioned out of the competition, but still suffers from feeling like people think he's not that guy. Ironically, it's kind of self-inflicted at this point, but it reminds me of how he tried to call Wale a false prophet. I almost feel like he's a lot closer to Drake in his half-black identity crisis. It acts like because he's light-skinned, people question him or don't fuck with him, which down here where I'm at, that's not really been the case. He's never really had his blackness questioned by fans like Drake. So it's kind of weird to me that you hear him making these kind of weird mulatto comments and the white mom, but I'm at the top. And I'm like, that's never really been attached to your persona. Like, you've never really suffered from that. So I kind of wonder why he kind of included that as like part of the narrative of why people think he's not that guy, because nobody's ever used that against him. I feel like that's strictly been a Drake thing. But
insecurity.
I feel like it sounds like some insecurity. It sounds like, why don't people think I'm the best? I keep saying I'm the best. I keep rapping like I'm the best. It's kind of like he wants to be acknowledged as that, but he doesn't want to go through the things that make people acknowledge you like that. Like, there's always going to be a conversation of, okay, the big three, who do you prefer? Who do you think is better? Normally, you can just speak to the rapping, but there was an opportunity for you to put all doubt to bed, for you to dead the whole conversation. And people could be like, okay, based on these interactions between y'all being direct at each other, this is what you did, and it's like, you made your choice, just live with it. It's
He didn't
okay.
even have to insert himself in it.
You didn't. You could have stayed out of it and nobody would have felt any type of, I mean, you're gonna have some people that's gonna be like, oh, he didn't want to do it, he's scared, but most people are gonna be like, well, he wasn't really shooting at him anyway, so does it really matter? But it's like, now in the aftermath of all that, you kind of wavering, you kind of still doing the, oh, well, I could have, I should have, I'm still that guy, I'll still do this XYZ, but you keep avoiding direct confrontation.
Yes, please.
And it kind of bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, it's hard for me to kind of look at him the same, but this project, it still a solid project. If I had to score it, it's probably around like a 7.5, because I think I got Born Center at like 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of in that same range. It's solid, but again, I don't know how much of this I'm gonna replay, because a lot of this is vibe music. A lot of this is car ride music, like late night drive. Like, what's the Drake project that I feel like is the epitome of that? I think it's just kind of like So Far Gone, but a little different. Like So Far Gone is a ride in the car at night album to me.
Yep.
This is kind of compared. It's not as upbeat. You don't have the peaks as So Far Gone, but it's very melodic. It's vibe. I'm chilling. It's nothing crazy, because he don't really have the beats on here that go kind of crazy. But it's solid. And I think people need to come at it with an open mind. And it's a solid album.
Another thing that I peeped, I forgot to say this earlier when we was talking about the Let Out, when he said, you know, niggas will hate you. They can hate you for anything, the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I was like, bro, are you hated? Is this at Kendrick or is this at Drake? Because that was definitely a shot at one of them niggas. And I don't know, or it just was a cool rhyme scheme. But I was like, I peeped that. I was like, come on, bro. Now you just playing.
It might be, I don't know if it was a shot, but maybe just like, hey, look.
It wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't on accident.
He's too high level of a rapper to not know people gonna nitpick and pick his bars apart and hear that.
Yeah, I haven't saw nobody say nothing about that yet, but I was like, I can't be the only person that noticed that he said that. Like, I can't be the only person that noticed that he said that.
For sure.
Indirectness.
Yep. Well, you know, that was our initial thoughts on the fall off and for Birthday Blizzard 26. Overall, if Cole is to call it a career, I think that he had a really solid career. I am fearful for what's next for hip hop in general, because it's just like we've had quote unquote the big three and a few others at the top for so long, and none of the young boys that's out there is just like, okay, or do they have the skill set to reach that next level? But at the same time, music has changed so much to the point where you don't necessarily have to have somebody at the tippy top, but somebody eventually out of this new group of rappers is going to have to break through and will break through. Who that may be, we'll have to, I guess, wait and see. Because at the time that Kendrick, Cole, and Drake really started to solidify themselves at the top of the game, you know, we were still in the blog era, and people were still physically buying albums. And if they weren't physically buying it, they were buying it off iTunes instead of streaming the albums per se. So we'll have to see where it lands, and if, you know, we get a next generation of rappers who's going to come in and, you know, be at the top of the game, not only from a lyrical standpoint, but also from a music making standpoint, you know. But as of right now, as far as the new crop of rappers, there are those out there. I guess it just depends on who's going to actually step up for real. But that's just my take on it. I think that Cole has a pretty solid career under his belt, and if he decides to not make another album again, that's up to him. I don't think he's going away, as Scuba Steve said. I still will see. You know, there's got to be some features that come here and there. But
I think it depends on how people receive this album, bro.
Yeah,
and the way, I mean, you haven't been on social media. It's a lot of people that's instant classic, and then of course
it's extremes on both sides.
Yeah. But there's like the regular people that are like just hip hop here. They're loving this album. It's one of them things where I guess because last night, like I said, I was not in the mood. And then I seen the comments and everybody was like, yo, this is a great album. And I was like, let me continue pick up where I left off. And I started this too, and I love this too. And then I went back to listen to this one. It's a much better thing. But yeah,
I re-listened to most of this one when I was outside earlier, like just walking around, like taking a walk. It's not an album you can just sit there and listen to because you're not going to enjoy it. Yeah, you need to be like doing something, and it's like some not background music, but it's just something solid to be playing. Like it sounds good. You might not be able to like, oh, he rapping or bar nothing like that, but it sounds good. It just might not be what you want to hear from Cole.
Yeah.
It's a grower, not a shower. Pause. For me, that's what it's been.
I mean, I wouldn't have used those terms, but I get what you're saying. It's an album that has to grow with you. For me, I think even as Leek pointed out, like this album is definitely one that you like ride. A lot of the songs you ride in the car to. I wasn't gonna say so far gone. I was gonna say Nothing Was the Same. That is my favorite album of Drake, but a lot of those tracks are ride in the car. They have that ride in the car vibe. So I think that's where this album falls as well for me. But I still love, or I still think that this is a really solid project. And it's just gonna depend. Some of these songs, of course, I can throw on a playlist and be like, yeah, I'm a definitely listen to that. A lot of these, I'm like, yeah, it's probably a one and done for me. Like Run a Train, that ain't going on no playlist no time soon. I'm sorry, Future. I don't know what the hell you was doing with that chorus, but no, sir. 2-6 is probably not going on a playlist, but stuff like Safety, Legacy, The Let Out, definitely. I Love Her Again, Quick Stop, and Life Sentence, Old Dog. Even The Villist, I'd throw on a playlist, and it's just a lot of stuff on this too that I really enjoy. But that's how I see it. I guess we just gotta wait and see what the initial reaction is, and because again, this is literally us reacting to it
real quick.
The day that it came out.
I forgot to bring up one thing.
What's up?
Last night when this album dropped, y'all do know that like Drake gave Academics like a snippet for him to play, right?
Yep. He tried to step on it.
Just making sure we was all aware of that.
Oh and yeah, I didn't pay attention to it.
That confirmed that there is some tension.
Yeah. Drake doesn't like nobody right now because he felt like, honestly and truthfully, I think Drake, when he did First Person Shooter, which I think was his plan, I think he was intending on gassing Cole up a little bit too. And he thought Cole is the lyricism that Kendrick would have to go against. And I can star power him. That's what I think that Drake thought it was going to be. He did not think that it was going to be a 1v1. He was trying to jump Kendrick. That's what I think was going to happen. And then when Cole backed out, all of a sudden, which still don't make sense, even if whatever, when Cole backed out, that don't mean we beefing now. You know what I'm saying? And I think Drake is beefing with Cole because of that.
Yeah, to be honest, I honestly think that Cole should have never stepped in it to start with. I think the moment that he saw Kendrick throw that shot, he'd be like, hey, look, that's between y'all. Y'all have fun with that.
I went to Dreamville Fest and I said that. I said, he's going to apologize. He's going to be like, that's my boy. It's all love. That's what I thought it was going to be, something like that. I didn't think that he was going to apologize like that, but I thought he was going to say that. And we said that shit on It Mob, and Rob laughed and then turned around. He was like, bro, I know you like
yeah. We was all surprised. It was like, damn, this nigga apologized, bro. When we were still doing Shogo, we were talking about that. I was like, damn, Cole, really?
The influx of niggas that walked out of that festival when he apologized, nigga.
Well,
it was a lot of us that walked out. But yeah, that's another topic. That's another conversation.
Another topic. Yeah, man. I still wish that I could have attended a Dreamville Fest. And it don't look like it's gonna happen anymore, but still, I definitely wanted to attend it. Even if, with that whole situation, I still would have liked to have been there just to actually see it happen in real time. But that's one concert that I'll probably never get a chance to go to. And there's plenty of others, but it is what it is. I'm still low key recovering from that damn Kendrick concert last year, low key. So there's that. Man, I just had to get floor seats for that, but And, you know, I enjoyed myself. No regrets there. Anyway, that is our review of Birthday Blizzard 26 and the fall off. Let us know what your thoughts are. You know, definitely check in the comments and let us know how you felt about the album. If you think that our takes were on point, or if you think that, you know, they were trash, at least let us know what you think and how you felt about the music. If you think they were trash, we're probably going to say you're wrong. But either way, you know, music is opinionated. So just, you know, whatever your opinion is, just let us know how you felt. Definitely, if you are listening to this on Spotify, of course, give this episode 5 stars. If you are listening to it on YouTube, please be sure that you like the video, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell as always. And yeah, that's all that I got. Do we have any new business highlights or any shout outs that we want to throw out there before we get up out of here?
No,
That's it.
Word. I made this announcement on the previous episode, but I will once again make this announcement on this episode as well. Chaotic Culture, of course, will have a panel at BlurredCon. So if you are in the DC area, come out to the Hyatt Regency Hotel, sign up for BlurredCon. Our panel will be, of course, the Pass the Aux Nerd Edition. Big shout out to Panda. Once again, this is her baby. We are just going around on the panels trying to hype it up. With that in mind, we will be doing the Nerd Edition, which will include not only songs from anime, but also our favorite intro songs from Cartoon Network, from Disney, from Nickelodeon, from Kids WB, and so on and so forth. So we will test your knowledge to see whether you think that you can come up with the name of this show within 5 to 7 seconds. We're trying to be generous here because it's a game show, obviously, and see what, you know, if you can win some prizes. So with that in mind, the panel will be on March 7th at 4 p.m. at Hyatt Regency in the Washington B, which will be in the basement level ballroom. And we are looking forward to seeing y'all come out and support and kick it with us. And of course, have a ton of fun because we will be having some fun. We definitely had some fun at Anime NYC when we did this, and now it's time for us to have some fun at BlurredCon. Also, you know, you got other cons coming up as well. MomoCon will be coming up at May. We may or may not do a panel over there. It just depends on how funds are looking. And then DreamCon, I will not have a panel at DreamCon, but of course I will be heading out there just to, you know, talk to my people. This is Houston, Texas. Of course, I always love Houston. We are planning to return to Anime NYC, but again, you know, we just got to make sure the schedules align. So just be on the lookout for that. If we make it and if we get the panel approved, an announcement will be made for Anime NYC for this year. And that's all the topics that I have. With that, it's Black History Month, so I got to do this rundown real quick. You already know we are going to be shouting out all of the Black content creators, Black artists, podcasts that have supported this podcast or have been a part of this podcast in some form or fashion. So let me go ahead and get my list because y'all already know it's a lot to talk about. Real quick, as always, big shout out to Inside the Mind of a Blur. You know, I already know that's the gang that is, you know, Steve's pod, and of course I'm a part of. I have not recorded lately, but hopefully the schedule change will work in my favor to where I can have some of my Wednesdays off again. One will hope. Anyway, big shout out to Mike Check Waifu as always, man. Shout out to Poe and Tell for doing their seasonal anime podcast. Of course, shout out to Worst Gen, and of course, Anime After Dark Community Hangout. You know, big shout out. And of course, it's good to have Leek back on with us as well. Again, the Truth and Transparency podcast has been taking a break because the Brother X and the Culture Scientists are getting ready to welcome a baby into the world. So big shout out to y'all. Congratulations. Dad Needs to Talk with Rob, the Father of Ash, Geek Set Podcast, Anime Junkies 3 Weaves in the podcast. Big shout out to those anime girls. Big shout out to Black Geek Energy as well. And for our Black authors, big shout out to Kay Renee, aka Sedona Rose, and Elena Graham, aka Elena. For our Black content creators, Off Black Mag with Aaron. More on that later. Of course, you will be seeing him on this pod very soon. Big shout out to Cerberus Entertainment. Big shout out to our streamers, Tatted Poodle, Geechee Gamer, Shelby with Simply Janine, Simply Baked the Rose Less Traveled. Big shout out to Toasty Marshmallow doing her thing in Cali now. Shout out to the Corner 5, Simone Courtney 5, Chris and Sham, and of course, Scuba Steve and Alpha with Blur Mind Productions. Big shout out to Carabis, and of course, big shout out to Young Goku. Please be sure that you purchase Wake the Dead. And of course, for our Black artists, once again, shout out to NASA, Scoozy, Jack Unionfield, Me, Ellis Quinn, RJ Stackhouse, Quarter, Big shout out to Tyrone Leek Jr. Big shout out to Ari Lachelle, who is actually part of the Recording Academy. So she's been doing some big things with that. So congrats to her. Big shout out to Zach Hans and Fortresses. Once again, shout out to Elena. Big shout out to Zainab, and big shout out to Imogen. And for our Black business shout outs, once again, Fresh Nourish Righteous Minds by Timo, KS's Brand by Christina, Cream Cosmetics by Naima, Mind for Mother by Tremaine, Studio Maho with Pat and Yin, She Designs 2 with Aaron, Black Magic / Lit Wands with Lone T, H4 Creative by Zenobia, Real Estate Stone by Meredith, So by Belle by Mariah. She also just got signed to another real estate agency as well. So big shout out to Mariah. And Scrappy Sentiment with our very own Sappy. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Once again, please be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon to get this episode early before it comes out. Of course, this episode will drop on Tuesday. So expect to see that happen there. But if you want this episode early, of course, please be sure that you join the Patreon for as low as $2. You can follow us on all social media. You can follow this Chaotic Culture Podcast on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can also follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Threads at Chaotic Culture Pod. You can follow us if you so choose on X/Twitter at Chaotic Culture 1. You can follow us on Blue Sky at chaoticculture.bsky.social. And I think that's it. You can follow me, Ked the Pro. That's K3 the Pro on all social media. You can follow Scuba Steve at Scuba Steve 1428 on all social media. Leek, how can people follow you if you decide that you want people to follow you?
I think every platform is at Call Me Leek, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I'll be on there sometimes. I might not say nothing, but I'll be on there sometimes.
For sure. And that's all that I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. And this has been another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. Once again, happy Black History Month. Until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture chaos rules. Be blessed. Be safe. God is love. We out of here. Deuces.
So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. And